Big tech is now going all out, telling you what you can say and what you should think, and telling you what is truth and what is not. And they shouldn't, this is like a dictatorship. It's like it was in the Soviet Union, or like it was in Eastern Germany, which I still kind of experienced. It's just that now it's not the state. Now it's just big tech, In Eastern Germany, it was the state telling you what to think and telling you what the truth supposedly was, and threatening you with consequences if you thought something else, and especially if you said something else. But now it's big tech, and a lot of people don't even notice that because they also do it hidden. They really do a lot of shadow banning based on keywords. But it's not even humans who are doing that. It's all done by the algorithms now, which is completely baloney, because the algorithms are really, really bad at telling in what context a keyword is. That's one of the reasons I'm on BitChute in the first place, is because actually, the main reason was actually because, most people go on BitChute because not most. Well, it's okay. Let's not make a generalization like that. But there are some far right people on BitChute. It's not most of the people on BitChute, but there are, especially at the beginning, a lot of people who maybe liked Germany very much, yes, and maybe like certain socialist or national ideologies. They came to BitChute because they felt they couldn't speak freely on YouTube. I came to BitChute because YouTube wouldn't let me criticize Nazis, actually. They deleted all my videos criticizing Nazis. And the reason for that is, of course, no one, they didn't intend to do that. It's because, they doing all that, they're doing all the censoring and deleting and, using the algorithm. And the algorithm just, couldn't tell, you guys know that I'm very much opposed to National Socialism. I always criticize it. So I'm not, supporting National Socialism at all. And that's the same thing I did on YouTube. All I did was just criticizing National Socialism, exposing National Socialism, and all those, most of those videos got deleted on YouTube. You can't do that on YouTube. And I think they didn't even intend for that. It's just because, if you, no matter if you're supporting a National Socialist or criticizing National Socialists, you have to mention the word National Socialist, and then the algorithm just sees, National Socialist, better delete that video. It's horrible, And then, of course, I get pissed off, and complain that YouTube, censors me and deletes me and so on, just for opposing National Socialism, and then I voice that, and I criticize YouTube in a way for doing that, right? And they don't like that either, they like that even less. Now they're at a point where you can't even criticize them at all, even if they make a genuine mistake, even if they genuinely did something that they didn't even intend to, because I'm sure they didn't intend to not allow you to criticize National Socialism. I'm sure they would have probably been okay with that, but they messed up because of their stupid algorithm, and then if you complain about it, they censor you again for complaining about it. You can't, because now it's even at a point where you can't even criticize them at all, even if they make a genuine mistake. It's like, it really is like it was in Eastern Germany, or like even how it was in in the Third Reich. It's a total dictatorship, basically. It's just that it's not a dictatorship by the state, it's a dictatorship by big tech. It's not just YouTube and Google and Facebook, it's all the big tech companies. They're all pretty much the same now, and you can't say anything. And you can't even say the things they would probably allow you to say, because you end up using some keywords that they don't like. Basically can't say anything. All you can do is make cat videos or something. You can't even say like, go over to my BitChute channel where you can still watch my videos criticizing National Socialism because YouTube is stupid and deleted them. You can't even say that, because you can't criticize big tech. They're now very much allergic against that, like I said. And you can't promote BitChute because they say, what, you want people to go over to BitChute with all the National Socialist propaganda on there? It's so stupid. And yes, BitChute still has some neo-Nazis, but so it gets portrayed as a neo-Nazi platform. It gets slandered, But for being neo-Nazis, they're surprisingly not acting like a dictatorship, whereas big tech, surprisingly, for claiming to be opposed to neo-Nazis, surprisingly very much act like a dictatorship. So weird, isn't it? So the alleged neo-Nazis are the only ones that allow me to criticize neo-Nazis. Isn't that strange? Anyway, with things, having become the way they are, and things probably getting worse, and, big tech acting more and more like a dictatorship, there were a few things I want to, a couple of things I want to, give you my advice, what you can do. Well, first off, you can get off big tech, so obviously you're on BitChute, so that's already good. And, there isn't only BitChute. For every, big tech giant, there is not only one alternative, there's a whole bunch of alternatives, right? When it comes to software, you always have a lot of great open source alternatives, because, Google doesn't only have websites. Google basically owns Android. So I don't know why people install Google Android on their phone. Yeah, well, because the phone comes with it. But, it's not very hard to install Android without Google, and it's so much better, so it's not difficult to get off big tech. It's just that we're so used to it, but if you know that you're a person who doesn't want to go along with the kind of censorship that big tech is doing, and wants to voice your own opinion, and don't be controlled by big tech, then you really have to get away from big tech, and the earlier you do it, the less accustomed you already are to big tech, the easier it will be to move away from it. Just use an alternative. There's an alternative for everything, and the alternatives are usually much better. Google is probably the most difficult to get away from, because Google now they own so much, so especially like with your cell phone, that's probably the most difficult. But even that isn't really difficult. You just take your cell phone to a cell phone shop, tell them to install an Android without Google, and that's that. Yeah, and most of the other stuff is mostly just websites, so just use another website. It's pointless for you to stay on big tech anyway if you're somebody who really voices his own opinion, and that have I think originally I didn't even have any opinion that was I wasn't thinking in any way that they wouldn't have wanted me to think. With me opposing National Socialism, they would have been okay with that, probably. It's just that when they then went all out censoring me, that I then started criticizing them, and they didn't like that, even more. So yeah, even if you don't actually even have an opinion that goes contrary to the way they want you to think, but you're just somebody who doesn't like being told what to do. I'm like that. I don't like being told what to do, even if it is something that I would agree with. The very fact that I'm being told what to do by those big tech companies, I don't like that in and of itself. Even if what they would be telling me would be something that I agree with, I would still disagree with the very fact that they tell me to have that opinion and tell me how to think. I don't like that in and of itself. And if you are somebody like that, you're not gonna be happy, using big tech anyway, and you're not gonna be happy on mainstream social media and so on, and they wouldn't let you voice your opinion anyway, as long as you have the attitude of, even if it isn't an opinion that they dislike, even if you just have the attitude of, hey, voicing your own opinion is good, and they don't even like that now. You can't even say that. You're gonna be happy there, and they will shadow ban you, and you're not gonna be able to reach anyone there anyway. You say, oh well, the alternatives have a smaller reach. Well, what does it matter? You don't have any reach anyway. How many people? I have almost 400 friends, and if you count them all together, I have about 400 friends and followers on Facebook, and whenever I post something, I reach no one. Because the algorithm doesn't like it. So yes, on the alternatives, on Mevi and so on, and Minds and so on, I have fewer followers there. On Mevi, I think I only have I have 7 friends or so on Mevi. So, but my posts still reach way more people on Mevi than they do on Facebook. So what's the point of staying with big tech then, right? So when it comes to all the fact check stuff, and sometimes it can get really confusing and really difficult to tell the truth, to tell the truth apart from the lies. It's difficult, and Facebook goes and tells you, well, this is the truth, and the other big tech companies, they tell you what the truth is, but I don't think that's how you judge what is true or not. Big tech is in no position to dictate that, and they shouldn't, and they don't have the capacity to determine what is true. I think you as an individual should determine what is true to you. You shouldn't let other people do that for you. You might say, well, how do I determine what is true? It's so difficult, all the political stuff and all the religious stuff and all the controversial stuff. How am I supposed to know what is true or not? And well, yeah, in a lot of cases it is hard to tell, but the way I go about it is just, is if I'm unsure about something, if I'm not knowledgeable about a certain subject matter, then I'll just say, okay, well then I'll just admit that. I'll say, well, I don't know. I don't know who is right or wrong in that particular aspect, or in that particular subject matter. I haven't studied it. But big tech wants you to have, wants you to adopt their opinion and have a certain opinion and even be vocal about it and say, no, this is the truth because big tech told me, and that's really wrong because that's not how it works, something doesn't become the truth just because some company tells you that's what you should think, you know.